Hey guys, it's Robert from East Coast Sawing Design. Just a quick little video today. Going to be milling up a couple spruce logs. On the mill I got a log that's about 6 inches in diameter on the small end, about 9 feet long, spruce. I'm making a pair of 2x4s out of it, possibly even some 1x thick material. I like to do what I call the 5-cut method. I'm sure it has a different name, but that's what I call it. I don't flip my logs over completely. It's always 90-degree turns. So if I have a log that's, say, 5 inches in diameter, I can do 5 cuts and I'll have a pair of 2x4s. So I do my first cut across the top. That takes off a waste slab. Turn it 90 degrees, take another cut off that produces another waste slab. Turn it 90 degrees again, and that does my 4-inch thickness, rough 2x4 thickness. Then I flip it over again and I cut it at 4 1/8 inch, and that gives me to account for the 1/8 inch thickness of the saw curve. And then I do the 5th cut and it splits the pair in half. It's worked out really good for me over the years. It's really adaptable for pretty much any style of board you're doing, as long as it's the minimum diameter. In this case, with 6 inches, I should be able to get 2 1-bys out of it, so it'll be an additional cut, but I'm fine with that. I'm not a big fan of the people that do one top cut, flip it over 180 degrees, and do another cut, and then bring it backwards to get squared against the dogs. I just do it one. To me, that feels like a wasted step, so join me along. I'll show you how I do my cuts and the flips. Alright guys, so my first cut's going to be at 6.5 inches tall, and that'll produce the base cut slab. Depending on if your log is dead straight or it's got a bow, you may have to do additional cuts on top of that. We'll see. Alright guys, so not too bad. I'm going to take it down to 6 1/4, 6 1/8. It's just a little bit thin down this end here. Even though this is going to be one of the faces of the 2x4s, I want to take a little bit extra off, just so I'm not left with too much bark edge when I go to trim it up. Alright guys, that produced a much cleaner result. So now I'm going to rotate my log 90 degrees away from the camera, and that'll put it right up against my log dogs. And my log dogs are set to 90 degrees to the bed, so that means my next cut will be perfectly perpendicular. We'll try cutting at the same 6 and an 8. See what we get. I don't know how well the jam is going to fit this top here. That's very thick off the slab, so we're going to raise the blade up 1 inch, 1/8. Let's see if I can take the full 1 inch slab off this side. So I'll put my cutting height that's 7 1/4. We'll try that out. Get a perfect 1 inch slab out of the waste, but I can still use this for some other projects such as cutting a table. Cut it in half using 2 4-foot sections. So we'll set this aside and resaw later. So if the deck is set up right, we'll go to drop, flip it over again, the flat will be down and should be 90 degrees to the dogs. measuring down for our potential board. So in this case, this cut will take me down to 4 inches thick for a 4-inch wide 2x4. I'm actually going to cut it a little bit smaller, so I plan on rotating these down to nominal, 3.5 by 1.5. I'd like to also get a 1-inch slab off this, so I'm going to take it down to 3 7/8, and then I'll also take a 1-inch slab off the top of that. So we'll just set the dog and we'll get going. First cut will be at 5 inches. That'll take the waist slab off, and then subtract 1 1/8 inches from that, gets us down to the 3 7/8 point to make the width of the 2x4. Our waist slab. This goes into the cutting rack. So here's our 1-inch slab. As you can see, it's got a live edge on it. This will eventually be cut down to 1.5 by 3/4 stock. But for now, it's going to be left as just a 1-inch thick slab. So we'll roll our log over again. Then we lower our dogs so that we don't cut into them with the blade. So where I want to cut these at 1 7/8 inches thick, I would go for my last cut it'll be at 1 7/8 inches. So it'll be 2 inches above that, so that'll be 3 7/8 to account for the 1/8 inch offset. And then I'll have 1 1/8 inches above that as my 1-inch slab. So 1 7/8, 3 7/8, 4, 5 1/8. So 5 1/8 is going to be our first cut. And I'll take the waist slab off. And then my next cut will be at 4 inches for the 1-inch slab, and then 1 7/8 for my 2-inch. So you get two 2-inch 2x4s. on a sec, guys. I hooked the blade. Sorry about that, guys. So what happened was, you can see on my slab, right there, I got a couple little branches sticking out of the board. I didn't have my head raised up high enough, so when I came backwards to make the next cut, I hooked it and it sent the blade off the wheels. So just always be careful of what you're doing, mind your surroundings and your log. Alright, so our next cut's going to be at 4 inches. Oh, my mistake. 1 7/8. So I got my numbers a little messed up, so I got to recut it at 5, and then it'll be 3 7/8. Another 1-inch board. See, there's a little bit of bark laying on it. That's fine. I'm not going to use the whole thing for the intended project, but it will get cut down and thickness plane to 3/4. Alright guys, so we got two 2x4s that are of a custom dimension. So we'll just double check our measurements. So yeah, both are at 1 7/8 inches in thickness and 3 7/8 inches in height. Normally when you're milling dimensional lumber, what's called rough dimensional lumber, you would want to cut everything at the exact. So 2x4 is 2 inches by 4 inches. 2x6 is 2x6. But in the case of this stuff, I went 1/8 of an inch smaller because I plan on taking these down to store-bought lumber dimensions for a project I'm working on. So I'm starting with rough and then I'm planing it down. So these will eventually end up at 1.5 inches thick, 1.5, 1 3/4 by 3.5. So that way just gives me a little less material to take off, a little less waste from the processing. So a better yield overall. So I hope this video was informative to you. If it was, like, share, comment. If it wasn't, tell me why. And hope you have a good day.